dietary trends, over the past 50 years or so, the actual amount of saturated fat we've been eating has been going down steadily. It kind of came up a little bit from the 1930s up through the 1960s or 70s, and then it came down. And yet, over this same time period, the amount of insulin resistance globally, certainly within the US, has just been steadily going up and up and up. I mean, substantially.
You can't lose weight because you're afraid of saturated fats. At least that's what metabolic health expert Dr. Ben Bikman believes. He argues that everything today is designed to discredit the benefits of healthy fats, pushing people toward carbohydrate addiction, which is leading to widespread insulin resistance.
That's a whole topic. As much as over the past decades we vilified dietary fat, oh boy, we got it wrong. And wouldn't you know it, in the first time in history, as far as I know, a government issues a mandate telling its people what to eat, and boy, they got it wrong. No surprise, right? That has happened so often when you take things to that level. So if we put the blame where it belongs, not only are carbohydrates the only macronutrient that people have an addiction for, no one's addicted to fat, no one's addicted to protein. If only people were sitting around on a Friday night listening to us chat and thinking, oh, I really want a stick of butter. No one. They want something sweet and gooey. They want something salty and crunchy. So we crave carbs, and they have myriad metabolic effects, one of which is to spike insulin.
Bikman backs up his claims with hard data, showing a strong statistical link between the global shift away from saturated fats and the rise in insulin resistance, and, as a result, the spread of obesity. If we look out at dietary trends over the past 50 years or so, the actual amount of saturated fat we've been eating has been going down steadily. And yet, over this same time period, the amount of insulin resistance globally, certainly within the US, has just been steadily going up, and up, substantially. Saturated fats are most often demonized for supposedly harming heart health. But you might be surprised to learn that when researchers compared a high-fat diet to the DASH diet, a meal plan specifically designed to lower blood pressure and prevent heart disease, they found no difference.
Chiu et al., CHIU, in 2016 published a paper that actually compared the typical DASH diet, which is low fat, low refined carb, low salt, with a really high fat version. So very high saturated fat, that people were encouraged to eat full fat dairy liberally. So they were eating substantially, multiple times more saturated fat than the other group. And not only did they enjoy the same reduction in blood pressure that the standard DASH diet did, and remember, that's the main reason people do it at all. So not only did they enjoy the exact same reduction in blood pressure, but they actually had better lipid improvements. Their triglycerides went down more and their VLDL went down more, while the LDL stayed the same across the two groups. That is really impactful. By lowering triglycerides and lowering VLDL, those variables are much more predictive of heart attack risk than LDL is.
The secret of saturated fats is surprisingly simple. When they regularly enter your body, they're not stored. They're burned right away. That's because saturated fats don't cause insulin spikes, so your body never gets the signal to store energy for later. And the longer you eat them, the faster you experience what's called fat adaptation, the point at which your body fully switches to using fat as its primary fuel. At that stage, the fat you eat is burned as it comes in, and the fat stored in your body is burned just as easily between meals. During fat adaptation, fasting or exercise can burn fat almost twice as effectively. But here's the surprising part. The fat stored in your body that causes excess weight is also saturated. So it is actually the fat which causes you to gain weight is made from carbohydrates. And not only is there a lot more of it, but because glucose spikes insulin, this fat is locked away in storage and increases obesity and weight gain. Even worse, saturated fat made from carbohydrates is the type most likely to harm your cardiovascular health. And here's the kicker. Even if someone avoids eating saturated fat entirely, insulin can still increase the production of saturated fatty acids, like palmitic acid, directly within the body itself. When you overeat carbs, especially refined ones that spike blood sugar and then surge insulin up, the liver gets to work producing more saturated fats from scratch. So paradoxically, a zero saturated fat diet heavy on carbs could leave you with more saturated fat circulating in your blood than if you just ate a steak.